So students, hope you all are safe at your home. This is a video where I will start with the chapter digestion, and this is a very introductory portion of that chapter. You have studied or you have learned it in your early classes that digestion means the process where the complex substances present in the food we consume is basically broken down to their simpler form. Like protein will be broken down to amino acid, carbohydrate will be broken down to glucose, fat will be broken down to fatty acid and glycerol. Means the simplest form in which this macronutrients can be available. So that is what digestion is, and this is basically needed because those simpler form either will be used for production of energy or they will perform specific functions they have. That may be a structural function or any other physiological purpose which they will serve. So basically the process of digestion involves breaking down of 3 macronutrients: carbohydrate, protein and fat. Carbohydrate will be broken down to glucose, protein will be broken down to amino acid, fat will be broken down to fatty acid and glycerol. And these are their simplest structure, and why simplest structure, how that they are broken, but means structure will be changed step by step, that you have already learnt in the previous class. Okay, so in the previous session I should say. So this is basically done by chemical or many chemicals involved in it, and they are specific. Means proteins are broken down by particular enzymes, carbohydrates are broken down by particular enzymes, fat are done this is done by particular enzymes. So what are enzymes? Enzymes are chemical structure, and they are basically protein in nature, right? So before we go to the detailing of the process, how this is done, what are the locations or what are the organs involved in it, how much is being conducted where, we first need to have a background idea regarding enzymes, because if they were not there, this could not have been possible. Okay, so basically what we have learned first, enzymes are proteins in nature, right? Proteins have specificity regarding many things. Specificity about temperature, pH, substrate. They are very choosy about this. Means enzymes have a specific temperature to work. Individual enzymes have individual preferred pH in which they are active. They have specific substrate on which they will work. It's not like that every enzyme is going to help in digestion of every single macronutrients. Okay, so one is first point what we have to remember is enzymes are protein in nature, like hormones are. Obviously there are many other substances and chemicals attached with the structure, but basic nature of the structure is protein. Okay, specificity of temperature. Every single enzyme has a certain range of temperature within which they are active. If the temperature is below that, then also they are not active. If it is above that, then also they are not active. Okay, so generally the enzymes which work inside our body have a preferred range of temperature between 37 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. Between this range, they are active and they act best. Okay, pH. This is this differs depending on the nature of the enzyme. There are some enzymes which work well in acidic ambience. There are some enzymes which work well, rather which work only in alkaline condition. Okay, suppose pepsin, we all know the name. It is secreted from the gastric cells of stomach. Pepsin works in acidic pH. Why? Because HCl is secreted from the gastric cells, and pepsin is secreted by peptic cells. Okay, so gastric cells secrete HCl, which is highly acidic, and pepsin works inside stomach. So obviously it prefers, or it is active in acidic ambience. Trypsin, this is another very important proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic means enzymes which can break down proteins. It is another important proteolytic enzyme which is secreted by pancreas and works inside the duodenum of small intestine. But the pH which prevails inside the duodenum of small intestine is alkaline pH, because bile is brought there from gallbladder through common bile duct, and bile turns the ambience into an alkaline one. So trypsin works in alkaline pH. Okay, so that is an example where we can understand how rigid enzymes are about working in a specific pH. Okay, substrate, also they are very rigid about choosing their substrate. Now we will discuss about the specificity regarding its substrate. Substrate, what are substrate? The structure on which enzyme is going to work and is going to break it down in smaller one. Okay, every enzyme has a specific substrate, and except that one, it will never work on some other substrate. Okay, suppose if I consider amylase. Amylase basically works on starch. It does not work on any other substrate except starch. It will work on starch and will break down it in maltose or any other disaccharides. Okay. Similarly, pepsin will always work on protein and will form amino acid. It will never amino acid, or rather directly not amino acid. This is done by trypsin, protease and peptones. Okay, pepsin in any condition is not going to break down starch in maltose. Similarly, amylase in any condition will not work on protein and will not break down it in peptone or proteins. So that is how specific they are about their substrate. Okay. Now this conversion has a particular rate, means enzyme works in a particular speed, and this is also something they regulate in their own mechanism. Basically, when the concentration of substrate is more and product is very less, the activity or the rate of the enzyme, rate in which the enzyme works is higher, but their activity also becomes saturated with increase in product and decrease in substrate. Means when substrate is decreasing, that means enzyme has already converted a lot in product. Obviously then enzyme knows that I need to work less now, so their speed decreases, and after a certain increase in product, or I should say after a certain saturation, enzyme knows that now it needs to stop. Okay, so this is how their rate of activity is controlled. Okay, now we will, in our body, most of the enzymes, and especially proteolytic enzyme means which work on proteins, are not secreted directly in their active form. They are secreted in a structure or in a condition or in a state which needs to be activated later when they are about to work on their substrate. So the structure in which they are released or they are secreted is called zymogen or proenzyme. Means the prior form of active enzymes. They do not get activated till the time they are about to work on the substrate. Maybe because this is a way for physiology to reduce the rate of waste of the structures. Okay, or they need to it to be activated only when it is supposed to work, and this is very common, and this is almost applicable to all the proteolytic enzymes. Okay, example is pepsin is the active form of enzyme which works on protein. So pepsin is the active proteolytic enzyme. Right? But it is not directly secreted in the form of pepsin. Rather, it is secreted in the form of pepsinogen as zymogen, pepsinogen. This pepsinogen is converted to pepsin by the activity of HCl. Okay, so this is what zymogen is, and this is how zymogens are activated to the active form before they are about to work. And this is one example. There are many. Trypsin is secreted as trypsinogen, that is again converted by other activators. So here HCl will be termed as activator, and there are many activators and specific activators for each enzyme or each zymogen. Okay, so this is what proenzyme is, and the next thing we will understand simultaneously with activators. There are some substances which can inhibit the activity of enzymes, so they will be called inhibitors. A very common example of inhibitor is trypsin inhibitor, which is present in many food consumed by us in our daily diet. We all know about soya bean, right? Or rather soya chunk. We consider it as a very good source of protein. Yes, it is a very good source of protein, but soya bean has considerable amount of trypsin inhibitor in it. What will trypsin inhibitors do? It will inhibit the function or the activity of trypsin. So basically it will not allow trypsin to work on the protein present in soybean or other foodstuffs consumed along with it, and will not allow it to convert protein into
pathogenic general, pathological general.
Okay, so it will not allow this to happen by the activity of trypsin. So that is how inhibitors work. So this is another basic characteristic you need to know, basic detailing you need to know about enzymes. The last two segments or last 2 points we need to know about enzyme is the basic 2 rules. There are many other rules obviously when it comes to naming any chemical, but very basic 2 the background or basic to ground on which enzymes are named, you need to know is, one is on which it is acting on, means its substrate. Depending on the nature of the substrate or name of the substrate, enzymes are named. Suppose enzymes which work on lipid. The enzymes which work on lipid are termed as lipase. The enzymes which work on the amylose. Starch is composed of amylose and amylopectin. Amylase basically works on the amylose molecules, right? So amylase works on amylose. So its name was derived from the substrate it is working on. Okay? Proteins, the enzymes which works on proteins, that category generally, general naming if we consider is protein. They are working on proteins, so they are called proteolytic enzymes. Okay. This is called amylase is also called amylolytic. Lipase works on lipids. So this is how enzymes are named after their substrate they work on. And now the second method by which they are named is how they work or the nature of their activity. How enzymes which are involved in process of oxidation, they are called oxidase. Enzymes which are involved in breaking down of complicated structures into simpler one, or large structures into smaller one. What they are doing? They are basically breaking down, right? So breaking down or breaking something down in smaller structures, it is called lysis. So enzymes which are performing this type of activity are known as, that category is known as lytic enzyme. Now if they are breaking protein, then proteolytic. If they are breaking down lipid, then lipolytic. So lytic symbolizes the process of breaking down. Okay, so depending on their activity, they can be named: reductase, oxidase, phosphorylase. Enzymes which are involved in phosphorylation are called phosphorylase. So this is the basic two rule by which enzymes are named after. Okay, so in the next video we will be back with step by step detailed discussion of the digestion of macronutrients one by one. So carbohydrate, protein and lipid, it will be discussed in individual videos. Hope you get all the informations clear here. Be safe.